bros, hey pals, it's everybody's favorite gamer girl, Tristonium, and today I'm going to be reviewing Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne, Chapter 2, the sequel. Now, some of you might know that I reviewed Max Payne 1, and it was so g-dang nice that I decided to play and review the second and third ones, but right now we're doing the second one, and I don't really have a cool dark and angsty origin for this game, or the third one, because they're all the same as my origin for, getting into the first game. Sorry, I have hiccups. But yeah, I slightly knew of it, then my favorite YouTuber, Nikki Jakey, talked about the series multiple times, so I decided to play the games. Oh my god. And after reviewing the third one, I'll probably say which one is my favorite, and hopefully that doesn't start any controversy amongst the baby Payne community. Now I'm gonna drink some water and pray these hiccups go away. So let's talk about Max and his inability to live a normal life. Max in this game is now working at the police station he was once a part of, and is now being hunted down. While following leads on this, Maxi-Man encounters re-encounters. That's a funny word to spell and say. Anyways, he re-encounters Mona Sachs, who is hotter than his dead wife? Not in game though, just in the little comic cutscenes, sadly. Anyway, she was partially featured in the first game and shown off to be very similar to Max, and they do two extremely obvious fake-out deaths for her in the first game, one being her getting shot in the head, and the other being her getting ran over by a UPS truck. But both of those things are true. Anyways, her reappearance leads Max into something that every protagonist should fear: a poorly written and out-of-nowhere love story. The first game kind of hinted at this, but it didn't work too well considering Max is avenging his family in that game, and it still feels a little out of nowhere, but it works well with the story, and I prefer it being here than anything else. The relationship between Max and Mona is kind of like Batman and Catwoman, if that helps. And also, compared to the first game, this game has Max written the same for the most part, but I feel like it had a little less of him monologuing, but when it happens, it's definitely the style of Monologue Payne. Also, imagine Mona and Max got married and he somehow got her last name. Max Sex. Anyway, spoiler warning I guess, but somebody should have told me there was gonna be a sex scene while I was playing this in the living room with my mom a few feet away from me.
To kill. Right then. More than anything, I wanted her.
The atmosphere in this game is a little similar to the first ones, but also very different in some ways. Environments don't have as many kind of set pieces that the first game had, making it feel like less of a 90s action movie and more like a 2008 action movie. The environment felt less alive in some ways, like hearing the bad guys talk a lot less, or there not being too much hidden stuff to interact with in the environment. This makes me sad because I miss hearing the bad guys talk about how much they hated Spider-Man. Wait, no, that was another game. Something kind of funny about the environment is you can knock like everything over, even people, if you open a door and it hits them. This game also kind of replaces hearing bad guys talk with talking to random people. For example, there's a police station level where you just walk around and press the interaction button by people and it makes Max do a very strange shrug. Then NPCs bust into spontaneous conversation. There's also a section where you can talk to some of Max's neighbors. As alive as the environment might sound though, it typically feels a bit like a horror game during gameplay actually. You walk through empty buildings You walk through empty buildings never knowing who or what is around the next corner, only listening to the awkward loudness of Max's footsteps. The music of the game definitely shows off the sadness contained in Max Payne's character, and the new version of the theme was highly appreciated, and I really like the songs, so let's just say they were kind of freaking tight. This game keeps the often appearing comic type cutscenes from the first game and turns them into sometimes appearing comic cutscenes. This game has much better animation than the first, so they probably wanted to show that off, so now a regular cutscene is much more common than the comic versions. One cool thing is the comics now aren't just 3 vertically split panels, and now come in all shapes and sizes. We love representation. Anyways, starting this game had me realize a few things. One of them being the people in the comment sections of the game's soundtrack are very depressed. Which I guess matches well with the game, so that works out. Random rant, but an annoyance I'll face while editing this is I can't record gameplay on my 360, so I'll need to borrow it from other videos for any 360 only games that I play. Since this is more of a technical thing and not really a gameplay related thing, I guess I won't count it in my list of things I didn't like. I also had to get the original Xbox version, though it was thankfully backwards compatible, but I'm not sure why there was never a re-release of the disc for 360. Also, did anyone else know that you can't open the 360 menu while playing a backwards compatible original Xbox game? Why is that a thing? Now, with the game on my 360, a whole new console and controller compared to my playthrough of the first game, I also had to get used to the new controls. Luckily, this game has button mapping, so it wasn't too bad, and I could just change whatever I wasn't comfortable with. And I couldn't find the button to turn into Naked Mona, though, so the controls aren't perfect. Speaking of changing buttons, there is something the game changed that is noticeable from the cover art. Max Payne has a different face, but what about Sam Lake? Whatever. I'm not sure how to feel about the face, as it matches Max from the game perfectly, but also looks like Nick Cage? I think both games had the perfect face for the time. Max in the first game looks like a 90s action movie star, while Max in this game looks like the guy from National Treasure. I mean, he looks like a cop who's tired from being stopped from apprehending criminals the way he wants to apprehend them. Something else noticeably different from the first game and this one is the difficulty and level design. Max Payne 1 is like,
hey, these levels in the beginning, they're gonna be pretty easy, but the end levels, they're gonna get pretty hard. But don't worry, we're gonna shower you with checkpoints Maxie.
But Max Payne 2 was like,
What? Sorry, Cowpoke, what's a checkpoint? Oh, you mean those things where you didn't even really give names in this game, even though we named every single checkpoint in the first game? Nah, the players don't need that, because they got that hot new quick save feature that gets rid of any of the pain in this game for Max Payne.
So I've got some things that I want to say related to this new quick save feature. One being, I didn't really realize it was a thing till I finished 1/3 of the game. But now, once I found out about this quick save feature, I max pooped my pants realizing how much power I had. You know, this thing is probably what differs play styles between players the most. I mean, you can save after every kill, not save every time you look at Mona's butt, or do what I did, and occasionally save whenever stuck at a very hard part. Now, I tried not to use the quick save much at first, but then the game kind of forced me to because, you know, you get to a certain part of the game, and it barely gives you any checkpoints, like it's forcing you to do the quick saves. Something else different in the game's level design is there's not really any weird detective level cryptic stuff. I didn't really mention this, but in the first game there were some parts where you need to do something like look at signs saying cars needed things to block the wheels so they wouldn't, you know, fall down a hill. And then you realize this is your prompt to shoot the block things and let the cars open a path for you. Now this game, it just has you walking and shooting, which is absolutely okay. But I don't know, I kind of do miss that cryptic stuff from the first game because I usually would use a YouTube tutorial to get through, but the times that I was, you know, max smart enough to get through stuff, it made me feel pretty cool. Okay, now I guess it's time to talk about the really stupid Dumbo Stinky Brainer Poo Poo Doodle Fart Grandpa Please Help Me segment, which begins with the fact that the elevators in this game don't play any music? Well, except for this one time. Tristan's videos are so good. Subscribe to Tristonium. I also highly dislike the fact that I couldn't overflow this sink. Another thing is these awkward name cards in the beginning that don't really add that much. I found them weird and distracting, but I guess they might help you learn names. Something else is the fact that you start off the game on inverted camera and the real option to turn it back was tucked away from me at first and it almost stopped me from reviewing the game till I decided to try and play anyways, then ended up finding the option. Who plays games with the camera inverted by choice? Also, Max still can't crouch and walk, so I guess he really is. Max can't walk.
Boo! You
No,
stink!
still don't like that? Well, alright. They also got rid of melee weapons, which I never really used in the first game, but they replaced them with a pistol whip, which I'll never use.
Good, probably. Come on, fucking stink. We stupid.
I guess at least I don't have to switch weapons to use that now. One last thing I don't like is that this game has a hard lock-on system. Why would anyone want this? Sure, you might not land every hit in the game, but that's the point. You're supposed to spray and pray, so in slow motion, you look like a badass. Now onto the things I enjoyed, liked, and loved. I liked the huge variety of crosshairs, though I was basic and stayed with the one from the first game. I also used options to decide I wanted just a bit of lock-on aim, not the super lock-on aim I just mentioned, but the very loose one. I had this on almost all game till I looked in settings and realized that it was off the entire time, and I accidentally did the whole game up until that point in free aim, so I decided to do the rest that way. A cool thing they added to this game is new physics, so now enemies ragdoll all over the place while getting shot, and they flop everywhere. Something else that was highly updated is the dream sequencey things, and they're a lot more horror-y, and some of my favorite parts of the game were them.
Think, damn it. Think. Wait. Just wait. I can figure this out. I can explain this. I can fix it. I can make it better. Think.
I also really like the graphics. They might even be on par with Halo 2 during the cutscenes in Max Payne, or they're at least close. The faces don't look like the skin masks from the first game anymore and are pretty good. Something else I liked in this? Mona! That's enough of what I like. Now I'll talk about the gunplay. This game has very similar weapons and gunplay to the first, and in terms of gameplay, it doesn't always feel like a new game. The bullet time is just about as fun though, and I really enjoyed it. Something I noticed while playing the game is that in the first game on PS4, at least, Max could activate bullet time and just stand there and shoot. But in this one on 360, I don't think you can. You have to dive to use bullet time, but on PC you can definitely walk around and shoot and stuff, and you don't need to dive. There's also this weird companion system, and it'll happen where after helping a random NPC, they help you kill bad guys sometimes, and I feel like this only happened a few times in the first third of the game. Then the developers forgot about it for the rest of the game, which I'm okay with. It didn't add too much, but it was never really annoying or anything. Hey, we did it. I reviewed the game. That was pretty much everything I had to say on it. I'll give it like a... Oh god, these hiccups did not go away. It's been like almost 12 hours, but I give the game like an 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I'm proud of myself for... I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. And it went away. Wow. It didn't. Anyways, I'm really proud of myself for how fast I got this review out. You know, I beat the game in like I beat the game in 2 days, and then I waited like a week and a half. But then today, in less than 24 hours, I wrote the script, recorded me saying the script, and edited the video. So if I had enough motivation and wasn't afraid of burnout, I could do a review every week. But I'm not doing that. But yeah, this is my Max Payne 2 review, so in a few minutes, after I record my dancing bit, I'm gonna probably start playing Max Payne 3. And yeah, it was fun. I like doing this. You know, this is the first sequel to a game I've reviewed, and you know, it's fun. I don't know, I feel cool, because soon I'll be able to say, like, I've reviewed an entire trilogy of games. And yeah, so I'm doing Max Payne 3, and then after I've decided I think I'm gonna do GTA Vice City. And yeah, thank you for getting here, if you did. This review is a lot shorter than I expected. I thought it was gonna be like 15 and 16 minutes, but it was a few minutes shorter. This is probably gonna make it about that time, though. But yeah, life update. I finished school. I'm done with my freshman year of high school, and I don't really care. my brain still hasn't really taken it in. Still, I mean, it started feeling like summer a few days ago, but it doesn't, really feel like summer. Though it does feel like it's going by very fast. We're already more than halfway through June, and then it's gonna be July, and then August is like probably the last month of summer, unless school starts late, cause pandemic stuff. But yeah, not that much in my life has changed since last time. I beat a game. It's called Max Payne. Not sure if you've heard of it. Max Payne 2. But yeah, I haven't. I've read a few Spider-Man books from this collection. I was supposed to watch more Punisher season 2, and I haven't. And yeah, after I made that Max Payne review, I think I realized I think the reviews are my favorite thing to put out, because I get to do so much. I get to first play a game, which I spend like half my time just doing all the time. Then I get to write stuff, and writing jokes feels nice, because I usually never write a script for anything. And then I get to record, which is probably the worst part, but then I get to edit, which it will give me a lot of anxiety sometimes, but it is also fun. And yeah, I guess that's really it. I'm probably gonna go cry because of these hiccups. But you won't see that. You'll get to see me dance. So, this has been Tristonium. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my Max Payne 3 review. And, quite frankly, these hiccups are making me want to die.
Hey, I actually forgot to mention I have a second channel now. It's called Tristonium. It won't come up if you search it as of right now, but there is a link to it in the description. So if you want to subscribe for behind the scenes stuff, the first video is gonna be how I, just behind the scenes of how I made the Max Payne 2 review. And I won't be uploading, often on there. I'm not gonna have a schedule or anything, but whenever I feel like I have something worthy of explaining behind the scenes stuff, it'll be on there. So yeah, you're gonna see me dancing in a bit, but yeah, if you care about behind the scenes stuff, feel free to go to that second channel, and maybe subscribe to this one. You know what I'm saying?